Well, once again I find myself in new territory. Until I went to put together this little marathon, I'd never even heard of this special before. I should also apologize for the quality of the footage. Unlike most of the other specials here, this was the cleanest footage I could find. It was released on both VHS and DVD, but I couldn't find them anywhere in time to get the footage I needed for this video. So again, I apologize for the low quality here. A trio of nuns, Sister Jean, Sister Catherine, and Sister Teresa, are making Christmas cards in an abbey near the sea, where it never snows. After a storm one night, they find a young shepherd boy, Lucas, who had recently been struck by lightning and rendered blind. While the nuns want to offer the boy some time to recover, the local father, Father Thomas, wants to have him shipped off to an orphanage, something that Lucas doesn't want to happen because it means losing his animals. So, on Christmas Eve, just before a big Christmas pageant, he decides to give his sheep to Sister Teresa, who also doubles as our narrator, to keep them safe. But 3 boys from the pageant end up letting the sheep out into the woods. But it's all taken care of pretty quickly, as the boys help him get them back, the pageant happens, it snows, Lucas cries, which somehow restores his sight, and then he's allowed to continue living at the abbey, where he can take care of his animals. So first thing I noticed is that the title is sort of a lie. This isn't really a story about the first Christmas, though the pageant is about that, but the main story takes place during Christmas, a few weeks before, and as for First Christmas Snow, it's not like there's anything magical about it, the story just happens to take place in an area that doesn't see much snowfall. This story is another really boring one, I have to admit, and there's nothing too memorable about it at all. At least Year Without a Santa Claus had the Miser Brothers, but this story is about as bland as you can get. And despite the whole Abbey setting, they don't really do a whole lot with it, since the story doesn't seem to focus that much on the more biblical side of Christmas, something that helped to make Little Drummer Boy stand out without being too religiously pushy about its story. This one isn't religious at all aside from its setting, but it has no bearing on anything about the story. This is the sort of story used for filler in a Sunday school lesson, honestly. Not much to recommend when it comes to characters either, though at this point I kind of suspect they were starting to reuse a lot of the older puppets, which is kind of distracting. There are some differences, but Lucas looks like a young Klaus with different hair, and I suspect that Father Thomas might have been a Burgermeister in a past life. But aside from Father Thomas's bluster, no one really leaves an impact. Our main characters are as generic and bland as they can be, and there isn't really anything resembling a character arc that you can latch onto either. I think that even Frosty the Snowman was a bit more interesting because it was at least fun to look at, even if I did find the overall special boring. But there's not a whole lot of life or whimsy to this special. Despite the status as a Rankin Bass production, it lacks the same sort of charm and quirky nature that manages to keep the other specials memorable in some way, shape, or form. It kind of feels like The Asylum trying to do a Rankin Bass ripoff, but no, this is an actual special, and I'm kind of realizing why I couldn't find a cleaner version of this one. No one purchased the DVDs for it, and no one bothered to upload a cleaner version of the special. The puppets look alright this time around, but like I said before, a lot of them remind me of puppets used in previous specials, making me wonder if they were reusing and repurposing all their puppets at this point. There's nothing wrong with that, honestly, and it's probably only something I noticed because I've been watching all these specials so close together. However, there are some impressive things about this special that you can see even with the low quality of footage that I have to show here. There's a bigger variety of animal puppets in this special than before, and they're pretty well animated, more realistically this time around, rather than the more cartoonish looks of animals introduced to us prior. And there's also a wealth of little details that I really appreciate. Like at the beginning, when the nuns are cutting, painting, and folding Christmas cards. That's actually really well done, and it's a great bit of detail that does help to elevate the animation a little bit more. It's small, but it's appreciated. I also don't have much to say in terms of the audio this time around. The special, despite its short length and simple story, does have a very slow, mellow tone to it, and the music and audio reflect that. It has some strong voice acting all around, with most of it being gentle and reserved, save for Father Thomas. The songs are also similarly slow-paced, nothing bad, but not a terrible lot of variety between them. Save a Little Christmas, Christmas Snow is Magic, probably the only real link between the title and the special, and it still has a lot less relevance than it did in Frosty the Snowman. White Christmas, The First White Christmas, all decent tunes, but all in step with the slow, mellow, and frankly kind of bland tone that the rest of the special set. They don't really ignite a lot of thoughts in my head, is all. So yeah, this one is just sort of there, and I'm not surprised I never heard of it before now. I am hoping for something a little bit more memorable regardless of quality in the next special. I'll see you all next time.